welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you our NFL Week 15 preview between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now let's take a look at some keys to victory for both teams, starting with the Bengals. Now, here are some in-game adjustments that you want to keep an eye on in this ballgame for the Bengals in the secondary, whether or not they go primarily man or zone. That's key versus the Steelers' passing game. They run a lot of crossers, a lot of rub routes. You want to pass guys off if you want to have success. And on offense, you want to keep an eye on how they attack in the running game, whether or not they try to get the perimeter or whether or not they try to run downhill versus that 3-4 front. And third down pressure is going to be key versus Ben Roethlisberger. Do they try to get pressure on the outside, or do they try to play contained pressure and get pressure down at A and B gap to put them on the ground? And for the Steelers in this ballgame, you're going to have to keep an eye on how they defend the screen game of the Cincinnati Bengals, especially when Gio Bernard is in the backfield. That's a big play for that Bengals offense. And the red zone play calling will also be key. They have to come away with sevens in order to knock off Cincinnati. So it's going to be interesting to see what Todd Haley calls once they get inside the 20. And trench warfare will be key on both sides of the ball. They're going to have to win at the line of scrimmage in order to have success this week versus the Bengals. Now, here are some coaching points for both teams in this ball game. For Cincinnati, keeping that outside arm free, which basically means you can't lose contain in both the running game or in the passing game. In the running game, you can't sleep on Le'Veon Bell's ability to get to the outside, and also in the passing game, Ben Roethlisberger's ability to keep the play alive by breaking contain. So you have to make sure you play contained defense if you want to knock off Pittsburgh. And on offense, the base formation should be 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, or an ace formation, 2 tight ends, 1 running back. I think both formations can give the Pittsburgh Steelers problems because the Bengals have the personnel in both formations to be effective. And you can't get beat deep. You have to make the Steelers earn every yard, every first down. Don't give up the cheap touchdown because you got caught looking in the backfield or because you lost contain. And for Pittsburgh in this ball game, you want to keep making those deposits on offense. That's playing small ball, working the short passing game, working the running game, taking your time going down the field to chew up that TOP, and that's how you can dictate the pace of the game. And on offense, you also have to try to get to the perimeter in a running game. I believe Le'Veon Bell can have some success getting to the outside versus Cincinnati, and if they can do that, they're going to have a lot of success running the football. And that also helps you chew up the TOP, and you want to force quick decisions defensively. You want to force Andy Dalton to try to get rid of that football quickly so that way you can rally up, make the tackle, and get off the field on third down. The X factor for the Bengals will be their ability to beat the blitz. That means receivers are going to have to win at the line of scrimmage. The offensive line is going to have to recognize stunts and blitz pressures and pick that up. And Andy Dalton will have to be decisive when he's delivering the football. If they're going to knock off Pittsburgh, it's going to be because they were able to beat the pressure that they send on each and every down. And the X factor for the Steelers will be their offensive line in the running game. If they're able to own the line of scrimmage and move that defensive front around of Cincinnati, they're going to have a lot of success. Le'Veon Bell is a guy that you don't want to tackle throughout the course of a ball game, and he also has surprising quickness. So if they can get him some opportunities at the second level, he can pay off with big runs. So that's why it's important for this offensive line to win early and throughout the course of this ball game versus Cincinnati. I like the Bengals in this ball game. When you look at this football team offensively, they can attack you in many different ways. And when I look at their defense going against that Pittsburgh Steelers offense, I think they'll do a great job in keeping everything in front of them and won't give up the big play. So I think Cincinnati will knock off Pittsburgh on the road. And I also want to give a huge shout out to Bengal fan forums and Steeler fan forums for always showing football game plan support.